God bless Texas. And God bless the Republican Party of Texas. Because of you, Texas can say what no other state can. It has been more than 20 years since a Democrat has won statewide office in the state of Texas. And we will extend that streak again this year. Well, a lot has changed since our last convention. Since we met 2 years ago, you helped me bury battleground Texas. And you ended the political career of Wendy Davis. And we also have a fabulous new First Lady, Cecilia Abbott. In 3 months, we celebrate our 35th wedding anniversary. And last election, you elected leaders who made the past legislative session the most conservative ever. As just one example, we passed the fewest laws in 20 years. Proving that better government doesn't have to be more government. And Texas led the nation in cutting taxes. We're building roads without raising taxes, fees, tolls, or debt. And Texas passed the toughest border security law of any state ever. Texas also protected life itself by defunding Planned Parenthood. And while you're up, Texas is now an open carry state. But make no mistake, our work is not done. We have more to do next session. We need real ethics reform that prevents elected officials from profiting off of their positions. They should be voting for your pocketbook, not their own. And we need to end the butchering of babies for profit. The sale or transfer of fetal tissue by an abortion clinic must be criminalized in the state of Texas. When it comes to education, we need to understand that one size doesn't fit all. So we need to expand school choice in the state of Texas. It is your tax money. They are your children. It should be your choice. And mark my words, we will enforce the rule of law in the state of Texas by banning sanctuary cities. Now, this may be a political convention, but we gather about something far more important than politics. Our nation is going bankrupt with $19 trillion in debt. Our Constitution is being rewritten by liberal judges. Our nation's open borders leave us vulnerable to the growing threat of ISIS. Political correctness is running amok across America. The most recent example is the bathroom battle that the Obama administration is waging in North Carolina. Obama is turning bathrooms into courtroom issues. He is rewriting the Civil Rights Act to force states to bow down to Barack Obama's political agenda. I want you to know I am working with the governor of North Carolina, and we are going to fight back. Our country is in a crisis, and Texas must lead the way forward. For every liberal action by Barack Obama, we had a Texas-sized reaction. When Barack Obama issued his executive order granting amnesty, Texas sued, and we stopped it. When he took executive action on global warming, Texas sued, and we stopped it. When Obama took executive action to admit refugees from terrorist-based nations, Texas sued to stop it. Our country better wake up. We're facing an existential threat. ISIS is running through a border made porous by Barack Obama's policies. Get this. An ISIS suspect revealed plans to open a route from Syria to the United States through Mexico. On this, our party cannot fail. We must elect a president who will secure our border, defeat ISIS, and stand with our friend Israel. We also need a president who supports our soldiers. You know, after the terrorist shootings of unarmed military at Fort Hood in Chattanooga, I decided our military should not be defenseless while on duty. So I authorized our National Guard to be armed while on base in the state of Texas. Our president treats our soldiers with the same arrogance that he treats our borders. Our veterans should not die waiting in line for access to health care at the Veterans Administration. Those who fight on the front line should go to the front of the line for access to health care at the Veterans Administration. We know that real heroes, they don't wear capes. They wear dog tags. They are like my brother. This is the dog tag that he wore as he fought for the United States of America in Operation Desert Storm. My brother Gary Abbott, right here. Commander Gary Abbott. We are so proud of all of the men and women who've worn the uniform of the mightiest military in the history of the world, and we never say thank you enough. So at this time, I would like to ask anyone who's ever worn the uniform of the United States military, would you please stand or wave your hand so we can thank you for keeping America so free? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And to every peace officer who keeps us safe, you have a grateful state and a governor who has your back. To fight for Texas, to halt Barack Obama's liberal agenda, I set a record that will never be matched. I filed 31 lawsuits against the Obama administration. But here's the deal. I didn't file those lawsuits just to have Barack Obama's liberal agenda extended by Hillary Clinton. Hillary will expand Obamacare. She will continue Obama's open border and amnesty policies. And Hillary wants to take away your guns. Candidly, I never thought I would say what I'm about to say. But we seem to have a federal government that tries to arm terrorists like Iran and tries to disarm citizens like us. Well, we Texans have something to say about that, and that is, come and take it. Now, Hillary says she'll fight for everyday workers at the same time that she said that she's going to kill energy jobs. All Hillary did was to kill any chance of winning any state that is an energy state like the state of Texas. Come November, the Democrats' war on energy is going to end. And their war on the unborn will end too. Hillary said that an unborn child doesn't have constitutional rights. That is not the law in Texas. And when we beat Hillary, it won't be the law in America either. But in all fairness, we do need to hand it to Hillary. Hillary is making history, but it's not because of her gender. Hillary will be the first candidate for president under FBI investigation. All you need to know about Hillary's priorities is this. Ambassador Stevens, who died in Benghazi, did not have Hillary's personal email address. Planned Parenthood did. Hillary's disastrous foreign policy decisions are not the only threat she poses to our future. You need to understand, we are at a constitutional tipping point in America. There is no margin for error on Supreme Court appointments. Understand this. The decision upholding the Ten Commandments was 5-4. The decision upholding your individual right to keep and bear arms was 5-4. The ban on partial birth abortion was upheld in a decision that was 5-4. In each of these cases, the deciding vote was Justice Scalia. Principles that we have taken for granted are on the brink of elimination. Scalia's seat must not be filled by Hillary. No seat should be filled by Hillary. We must defend the Constitution by defeating Hillary Clinton. to protect the Constitution, to advance conservative ideals. I joined with a friend who is the preeminent constitutionalist, a man who has tirelessly fought for religious liberty, for life, for marriage, for Second Amendment rights, a man who did more than anyone to fight against Obamacare. That man is my friend, Ted Cruz. Now, understand the history here. Ted and I worked side by side for more than half a decade during my time as Attorney General. We fought for the Constitution. I know Ted. Ted is a true conservative. He deserves our enduring respect. Now, Ted may have come up short, but that does not end the war. America does not have the luxury to get this election wrong. Republicans must unite to prevent Hillary from continuing the Obama agenda, from destroying our Constitution. All of us, we need to come to grips with the reality that the biggest threat to our freedom is a government that ignores the United States Constitution. Now, we were warned about this moment by James Madison himself. Encroachment by the federal government on state authority would be signals of alarm. The alarm bells are ringing. I detail all these challenges and everything that James Madison talked about in my book, Broken but Unbowed. It's a book about how my life was broken, but how I remained determined to fight on. You know, isn't it great that we live in a state where a young man's life can be broken in half, and yet he can still rise up and be governor of this great state? We are the greatest nation in the history of the world. But we must realize our government is broken because each branch of government has strayed from its intended constitutional role. If you are tired of the federal government trampling the 10th Amendment and the president using executive orders to write law, if you are tired of the Supreme Court rewriting the Constitution and Congress sinking us into debt, if you believe in the power of the people rather than the D.C. establishment, then I ask you to join me in calling for a convention of states to fix what is broken in the United States of America. Now understand this. The problems that are ailing America are far bigger than what any one president can solve. And as the person who holds the record for suing the federal government, I can tell you, it takes more than lawsuits to fix what's broken in Washington, D.C. The founders actually foresaw this very problem, and they gave us the tool to fix them. They wrote Article 5 into the Constitution to give states, not Washington insiders, the authority to amend the Constitution. And today, states are using that authority, and the movement is growing. Since I called for a convention of states, states like Indiana, Tennessee, and Oklahoma have joined with other states across the country, ranging from Florida all the way up to Alaska, to call for a convention of states. We are going to do what insiders would never do. The Convention of States can and must be very limited. It should focus only on a few specific amendments. It will propose things like term limits, a balanced budget amendment, and restoring the 10th Amendment the way that it was intended by the founders. Now, I've heard concerns about a convention of states rewriting the Constitution. But remember this: the convention will preserve our Constitution from the federal government's attempt to rewrite the Constitution. And I've heard concerns that a convention of states could threaten the Bill of Rights like your Second Amendment rights. But remember this: it's the convention that will protect those rights as they were written by our founders, as opposed to letting Washington politicians rewrite those rights. And I've heard concerns about a runaway convention. But remember this: it takes just 13 states to block any radical idea. So now is the time to restore our Constitution. Now is the time to protect our freedom. Now is the time to have a convention of states without fear of a runaway convention. Believe me, I worry far less about a runaway convention of states than I fear a runaway federal government that is destroying this nation. Now, some people say that allowing states to lead the amendment process is a radical departure from the Constitution. To the contrary, it is in the Constitution. What's radical is states not using the power that the Constitution gives them. Radical is doing nothing to protect our liberties from the federal government itself. And the bottom line is this: we all know that America needs mending. the question, who do you trust to do that? Do you trust leaders in Washington, D.C.? Or do you trust you, the people? I agree with the founders. The people know best. This may be our last chance to get this right. There is no other America. There is no other Texas. If you believe the people, not the government, chart our destiny, if you believe in freedom rather than tyranny, if you believe in the rule of law as opposed to the whim of leaders, if you believe we need to protect our unalienable rights to religious liberty, to own property, to bear arms, if you believe in the American brand of freedom that our mighty military has fought for from the very beginning, then now is your time to fight for it. I'm going to close with something you will never hear at a Democrat convention. The Word of God. Psalm 62. My soul finds rest in God alone. My salvation comes from Him. He alone is my rock and my salvation. He is my fortress. I will never be shaken. We must never be shaken. America must never be shaken. As long as we build our fortress on the rock of God, America will never be shaken. God bless you. God bless America.